He's a real big dude.
Death Knell Berserker. Black 1, 2/2. Elf Berserker. When Death Knell Berserker dies, if its power was 3 or greater, create a 2/2 black zombie Berserker token. I don't know. I mean, if you enhance it, you get a 2/2 later. It's 2/2 for 2. It looks not great. I might need a break. This stuff's awful. Oh, man. Time out. It's by color and rarity, because it can't be by CMC. I've done this for 2 hours already, and they told me there's like 1,000 artifacts. Dude, I've been drinking 5-hour energies, and I don't want to take any more of them. Ten minutes is just gonna, like, tease me, man. Thank you for the gift subs. Geo, this is like taking a shit, you know? You just want to finish it. You don't want to stop halfway. I'm not going to want to get out of bed tomorrow if I got to go do this again. I got food here, man. Don't worry.
That I gotta be the best of them all. That's just cut and dried. I'm the best. Whether you like it or not, you're looking at the greatest. That I gotta be the best of them all.
If I had Pop-Tart here to read the cards, this would be easy.
Whether you like it or not, you're looking at the greatest. That I gotta be the best of them all. That's just cut and dried. I'm the best. Whether you like it or not, you're looking at the greatest.
Alright, trudging along, I guess. Demonic Gifts. Black in 1 instant. Oh, I know this card. This is basically a reprint of something. Till end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's a pretty good combat trick. If you have things with enter the battlefield abilities, it's very good. It had a new name or whatever, but this card's pretty good. I like this kind of card. It's good for a combat trick. Dogged Pursuit. Enchantment. Black 3. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I fucking love this card because all you idiots are going to play it. But it's totally piss. Totally piss. Dragar Recruiter. Blue and 3 or black and 3. 3/3 creature zombie. Boast 4 mana, but it's a powerful one. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a 3/3 for 4. When it attacks, you can pay 4 to get something else back. But as long as this is trading, like, you're getting some card advantage. I think it's pretty bad. Like, even if it works, you're paying a lot on mana. You're paying an over rate for the 3/3, and then you're paying 4 to get your card back to your hand. Like, yeah, I mean, you can play this card in your deck, but it's filler, I feel like. I mean, Boast is when you're attacking, or if you've attacked. If this attacked. Dread Rider, black and 5, 3/7 creature, Spirit Knight. 1 in a black tap. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Target opponent loses 3 life. I have to play with this. I don't think it necessarily looks bad. It's going to look pretty fucking stupid if your opponent has a lot of flyers. Like, against flying decks, for sure. I can't just give this a piss rating right away. I mean, a 3/7, it might not be that bad. It could be, certainly be matchup dependent. You know, I can't, I just really can't, I don't think you can say really with a card like this without trying to play it. Certainly it'll, you know, it'll be bad in some matchups for sure. Here we go. Dusk Wielder, 1 black for a 1/2 creature elf berserker. Boast 1 colorless. Target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. If there's some blue-black deck that's like putting the flying rune on this guy or something, I mean, I don't foresee this thing just 1/2 just mowing away unblocked, and you have to pay a mana to get the ability. Like, I give it the grade of piss. Elder Fang Disciple, black and 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card, so it's Ravenous Rats. It's probably fine. This is the kind of card I was talking about, though, that you're going to want that fodder to either with that blue-black saga to hand it over, or the black-red one to sack, or some other black-red stuff to sack. So this could... Oh, you can only do it once. It's not a fucking fireball. Boast is once. Once a turn. If you could do it all you wanted, this thing would get not a grade of piss. Boast is once a turn. So, okay. I think this is going to be a good Ravenous Rat. The elf thing could matter too, as well as just the fact that it looks like incidental creatures are going to matter. Feed the Serpent. Black 2 instant. Exile creature or planeswalker. Obviously good removal, it is double black. Grim Draugr. Black and 2 snow creature zombie berserker. 3/2 for the 3 mana. Snow and 1. It gets +1/+0 and gains menace. So this is the card. I'm not so sure about something like this. I feel like Snow does not want to be aggressive. However, there might be some like black deck that kind of touches Snow that is aggressive, and this kind of fits in. I mean, you can do this multiple times, you know, to pump it more than once. I just feel like most Snow decks in general, I mean, you can play this, it trades, and it's a Snow card, but I feel like it's going to be filler, you know? Yeah, I think it's kind of filler, and I could see it being good in a non-Snow deck that has some Snow mana, or like it touches Snow, you know, like an aggressive deck that has a little bit of Snow. It kind of is nothing in a Snow deck, though, the way those play. Like, I don't think you're trying to... You're not aggressive. Never in the past have you been. But, I mean, maybe there's a black-blue Snow deck that, like, plays this, and the other guy that's unblockable, and, like, tempo Snow, black-blue, shitty common creature deck. That's something Gagney will try, at least. I'll guarantee you that. If you want to see it in action, I know where you can find it. Infernal Pet. Black and 2. 2/2 Imp. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a 1/1 counter on the card, and it gains flying until end of turn. If it didn't have that flying cause, it would definitely be awful. I still think it's piss. I'm giving it the piss rating. But, I mean, it's just a 2/2 for 3. It can't block for shit the turn it comes out. You're probably not going to double spell the next turn. Yeah, this thing's beyond piss. Piss minus. With the ability to be good once in a blue moon. But never good enough to be... Never going to be consistent enough to actually want in your deck. Jarl of the Forsaken. Black 3. Flash 3/2. When Jarl of the Forsaken enters the battlefield, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. Okay, so it's one of those things. And you can foretell it for a black and 1. This card's fine. I like that it has Flash. It's a good version of the Vraska's finisher or whatever, because you can block with the shitter and do this. I mean, I don't think it's, like, amazing. I think it's a good card. The thing is, like, you get to block with your little creature and finish their good creature, right? Like, that's your big upside. But, like, you're only left with a 3/2, you know what I mean? Like, it's... I don't know. It's good. But it's almost like a Bone Splinters type thing if your 3/2 is not really, like, trading with anything else. Anyhow... Carefell Kennelmaster, black 4, 4/4. When Carfell Kennelmaster enters the battlefield, up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and indestructible until end of turn. I kind of like it. In the right deck, if there's a black aggressive deck, this pushes a lot of damage. But you're going to need to be a black aggressive deck. And I'm sure it's going to combo with some creatures a little bit better than others. Ones that like didn't trade super easy right away. Or like maybe there's like, you know, a 5/3 or something for 4. Like then you go into this. I don't know if there is, but stuff like that. I think this card will have a home. I think some decks will want it. Until end of turn. It basically makes 2 creatures really hard to block. It's not good for Boast. Fucking cost 5 mana. What are you gonna... Boast's things cost mana too. Like... It would cost... It would cost way too much. Like, you want to curve out, play your 3-drop, your 4-drop, and then play this on your 3-drop and your 4-drop and hit them for a bunch. Yeah, it looks like it might be good with this card. Let's see. Koma's Faithful, black and 2. 3/1 lifelink, it's an elf. When Koma's Faithful dies, each player mills 3 cards. So yeah, I mean, you get to... This card's pretty bad. So this isn't the best example, but if you had this out, this is good on it. It turns it into basically a 4/1 lifelink. It ain't dying. So it's probably going to hit them for 4 and you're going to gain 4. Yes. It's like a Rage Scarred Berserker. But I think it's better, probably. It's not... You don't want it in a deck that's not aggressive. Like, it's going to be desirable in a deck, though, I think. Some kind of black attacky deck, I think, is going to want this card. I don't think it's just trash or filler. I think it's, in the right deck, it's better than that. Priest of the Haunted Edge. Black 1/04 Snow Creature Zombie Cleric. Tap. Sacrifice it. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of snow lands you control. Activate this ability when you could activate a sorcery. I don't think this card's that great. I've seen this card before, and I thought about it. Like, it's probably not killing almost... It's good against flyers, I guess. It can kill, like, a little flyer. Like... Most of the things it can kill, it can block anyways. If you have ways to recur your creatures, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's fine. I think of it as like a disfigure. Kind of like... It's good in the snow deck, but it's not like some amazing card. It's mostly an 0/4. Like, that's mostly what it is. An 0-4 reach. Blue giant that wants stuff to die? Maybe. I mean, I expect anywhere from 0 to 10 probably, depending on if you're drafting snow. You know, if you're drafting a snow deck, you need to draft the snow lands like super highly. If you're not, you'll expect to probably not get any of them because other people will want them. Maybe you pick up 1 or 2 randomly. But I would expect almost none, or you know, 6 to 10 if you're trying to draft snow. They're not just going to randomly appear. Like, it's not going to be every deck has 3. I mean, you need to be willing to like pick them in your first 2-3 picks out of a pack, I think, if you're a snow deck. Raise the Dragar. Black 1 instant. Choose 1. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Or return 2 target creature cards that share a creature type from your graveyard to your hand. Meh. I mean, you need a playable, sure. Skull Raid. Black and 3. Sorcery. Target opponent discards 2 cards. If fewer than 2 cards were discarded this way, you draw cards equal to the difference. And you can foretell it for a black and 1. I don't think it's very good. If you need a playable, you can probably just kind of toss this in and it won't kill you. And it's probably a decent sideboard card against like the like snowy, slow decks that need all their lands and stuff. You know, decent, but I'd rather not play it. Village Rites, reprint, no clue. Probably fine. Looks like you got some want for those spare creatures. Way Down, 1 black sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. I think this looks good. Sorcery, if I didn't say that. I could see you not wanting to have a billion of them because it won't do anything right away. But I think this will be a good card. Seems good. You can play more than 1 of them, but like you don't want to have a bunch in your hand early on. Wither Crown, 1 in a black, enchantment aura. Enchanted creature has base power 0 and has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life unless you sacrifice this creature. Seems good. So you put it on their creature, shrinks it to 0 power. If it has some kind of thing they want to keep around, they take 1 every turn. If not, it's just removal. I'd have to play with it a little bit to be sure, but I would think this is quite good. Alright. Blood Sky Berserker, black and 1. Whenever you cast your... It's a 1/1. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put 2 counters, 2 1/1 counters on Blood Sky Berserker. It gains menace until end of turn. I think this might be worth it. I mean, you need to cast it early. If you draw it late, it's never going to be anything but a 1/1 for 2. Because you're never going to save up for 2 cards. But if you do play it early, it's probably pretty good. And you can, like, if you have a decent 2-drop, you play that, and then you play this, like, you know, turn 5, play this in a 3-drop or something. I don't know. I think this card's pretty good, I guess. Dragar's Helm and Equipment. 1 in a black. When Dragar's Helm enters the battlefield, you may pay black 2. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie berserker creature token. Then attach Dragar's Helm to it. So 5 mana, you'll get a 2/2. However, then equipped creature gets +2/+2 in menace. So 5 mana, you're getting a 4/4 menace. I think you always are going to want to cast it for that. It is not worth it to cast it otherwise because its equip cost is 4, which is extremely high. I do think it's okay because black 3 for a 4/4 menace token is not like horrible, I guess. But once it's dealt with, you still have to pay 4 to equip it to something else. But +2/+2 in menace is no joke. I mean, it turns anything into a threat at a high cost of mana. Yeah, it's hardly a good rate. Worst equipment? I definitely don't think that either. I actually think it's pretty decent for an equipment. I mean, I hate equipment, but I think this thing is decent. It has to, the creature has to be dealt with, like, everything has to be dealt with if you use this. It just costs a shit ton of mana. Elderfang Ritualist, black and 2, 3/1 Elf Cleric. When Elderfang Ritualist dies, return another target elf card from your graveyard to your hand. This seems good to me. Seems like there's a lot of elves. Seems like you want to do some sacrificing with black-blue, possibly, or black-red, or some things in blue with little creatures, at least a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be bad against, like, bounce and stuff like that, but, like, if you're just against, like, a green-red deck or something, like, they're not going to be able to punch you that much for it. 3/1 for 3, already decent, says Fried Okra. I would argue a 3/1 for 3 is complete and utter piss on rate. However, this one does some things, so I like it enough. Hailstorm Valkyrie, black and 3 for a 2/2. Snow creature, angel, wizard. It's flying and trample. 2/2. 2 snow mana, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Again, these, like, some of these snow decks, like, I see this black-blue snow kind of shit creature deck. Like, I don't think most of your snow decks want a 2/2 flyer for 4. They want to block, they want to prolong the game, they want to go over the top. That's how it's always looked to me. Like that little red-green snow guy that makes the mana things and this and that. The black, like, some of the snow cards, snow seems to not always just play together well. In previous sets, like, you could pretty much look at anything that said snow, jam it all together, and it would work. I'm not seeing it this time. I'm seeing some, like, aggressive black snow creatures, and then rampy other snow things. Like, I'm not seeing it like where you can just take everything that says snow and, like, have a cohesive deck, and that's kind of a good thing, I think. Yeah, but you can close with anything in a snow deck. Like, this thing's fine. But this thing is, like, it beats down nicely. Like, this guy's awesome. But you want to be, like... You want to play, like, a 2-drop and a 3-drop and then this. You don't want to, like, do dumb shit and, like, fix your mana and then play this. And you just have a 2/2 and you're already behind on board. You want to, like, go 2-drop, 3-drop, this. Beat the snot out of you. Like, that's what you want to be doing. And Snow doesn't normally do that. Snow normally goes, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing. Big thing, big thing. Poison Cup. Black, 1 instant. Destroy target creature. If this spell is foretold, scry 2. Foretell for black and 1. This card looks awesome. Great card. You can even play it for a single black mana by doing the foretell. You probably want to foretell it most of the time. Looks great. Renegade Reaper, 2 and a black, 2/3. Angel Berserker flying. Renegade Reaper enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards. If at least 1 angel card is milled this way, gain 4. Bunch of poppycock. I mean, it's a 2/3 flyer for 3, which is fine. I doubt you're milling a lot of angels. You got a use for your graveyard, sure. It's a Berserker. It's probably pretty good. I mean, 2/3 flyer that's a Berserker for 3 is... Oh, great. Not in the set. He fucking swore to me! He swore to me that he had it. Return upon the Tide. Black and 4. Sorcery. Return target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's an elf, create 2 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens. Foretell for black and 3. I don't like it much. I never like these return creature cards. I don't think there's many elves that are going to be worth getting back just to get 2 1/1s. I could be wrong. Maybe there's some bomb elves that I've skipped over or not remembered. But in general, these recursion, 1 recursion things, putting in the battlefield, they're not. I'd rather just, I don't know. Usually there's one that gets 2 back to your hand that's better than this. The Rune of Mortality, the Black Rune, a black and 1. I've not seen this yet. Enchant permanent, draw a card. If it enchants a creature, it has Death Touch. If it enchants an equipment, that creature has Death Touch. Fine. Probably, you know, it's going to help you cast 2 spells, this and that. I have no idea how to rate these runes. They don't seem amazing to me, but obviously it's all upside. It's 2 mana. It's fine. Again, black does have the little shitters lying around. Giving it Death Touch is probably fine. I mean, I know that I can look at the number. I understand that, but it's hard for me when I'm just skimming through trying to go fast to remember, like, to check the number first thing. I tend to just see the card right away. If I read one that's not in the set, it's probably faster for me than checking all the numbers. Skemfar Shadow Sage. Black 3, 2/5. Elf Cleric. Oh, this guy's horrible. I've seen him before, I think. When he enters the battlefield, choose 1. Each player loses X life, where X is the greatest number of creatures you control that have a creature type in common, or you gain X life. So it's a 2/5 for 4. It might drain him for 2 or 3. I don't like it. I mean, it's not complete piss. It's a 2/5 for 4. It's decent, I guess. Turgrid's Shadow. Black, 3 instant. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. Has Foretell of black, 2. I mean, this could be okay in a slow deck, because you can play it on turn 4. And they might be the only one with creatures out. Or maybe you play a Ravenous Rat and it don't matter too much. But I don't think it's very good. But I can see in some certain decks, maybe it's going to be pretty good. Thornmantle Striker, 4 and a black, 4/3 Elf Rogue. When it enters the battlefield, remove X counters from target permanent, where X is the number of elves you control. Target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn. X is the number of elves you control. I don't fucking know. Do things have counters on them? It's probably going to give something -2/2. It's 5 mana for a 4/3. I don't know. I don't like this kind of card. Oh, not in the set. Awesome. Cool. Vengeful Reaper. Black 3. Angel Cleric. 2/3. Flying Death Touch Haste. Foretell for a black and 1. It's pretty good, right? Flying Death Touch Haste. 4 mana. Seems fine. I don't think it's awesome. It doesn't have lifelink or anything. Like, you can kind of just ignore the, not ignore, but take 2 or whatever. This is Poggers? I don't think this is Poggers at all. I don't think this is great at all. I mean, I don't think the haste matters too much. Like, it's okay. I mean, 2/3 flying Death Touch for 4 is, like, not the worst. I don't think it's great. This would wear an equipment nice, maybe. I don't know. Blood on the Snow. Black, and 4. Choose 1. Destroy all creatures or destroy all planeswalkers. Then return a creature or planeswalker card with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast a spell. This card is sick. 4 mana Wrath for your snow deck, and you'll get a creature back. What? Oh, the next card is not in the set. I was about to say, if that one wasn't in the set, that's 6 mana too much? Not for draft. It's great. Crippling Fear. Black, black 2, sorcery. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. I mean, I'm going to say this is quite good, but it's something I'd have to play with. I don't know how many decks are going to have, like, all big creatures or mostly big creatures or this and that. But, like, you know, obviously you choose your kind of tribe. It's very selective. You don't have to get hurt by it too much. So, I think this is pretty good. Sure, man. I know there's 100 ways to tell what's not in the set, but never kills changelings. That's a good point. Very good point. It might, again, I don't know. Hard to grade without playing with it. It could easily suck, or very rarely do much. It could be one of those cards. Don't know. Draugr Necromancer. 3 and a black for a 4/4. We're into the rares now. I guess we've been in them for a while. So 4/4 for 4 already okay. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile that card with an ice counter on it instead. You may cast cards from among cards in exile your opponents own with ice counters on them? Yeah, so... I mean... he's good. He's a 4/4 for 4 if you kill something while he's out. I don't think he's like some bomb. You got to cast your 4/4 for 4 that does nothing, but be a 4/4 for 4. Then you kill something. Then you cast, you know what I mean? Like it's obviously fine. Good, not some super bomb. I don't know what Crown is, but sure. Dream Devourer, black and 1, 0/3. Each non-land card in your hand without Foretell has Foretell. Its Foretell cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 2. Whenever you foretell a card, Dream Devourer gets +2/+0 until end of turn. I don't know. I don't think it's great. Giving a card Foretell, I don't think is that great. So let's say I foretell, like, whatever the fuck. I foretell Draugr, and then this dies. Does it just, like, remember that Draugr will be reduced by 2? It's not a build around at all. The only thing you have to build around is having cards in your hand. It's the exact opposite of a build around. It gives every card that doesn't normally have Foretell, Foretell. Literally not a build around. It would be full cost or what though? Would it still reduce by 2? Probably not, right? I'm saying I foretell this card, I attack for 2, they lightning bolt it. Next turn I want to cast this. This is no longer there. Well, I don't know. Either way, I don't think this thing's amazing. Like, foretelling your cards and making it a 4/3 or whatever, like, doesn't seem great anyways. Okay, that's fine. It makes it a little bit better. I mean, it's probably decent if they don't... I guess they probably won't have a 3-power creature out right away to block it. So if you're on the play and you play it turn 2, you could attack, pump like a 5-drop or whatever, and then or a 6-drop, and then play it on turn 4 for 4 mana. It might be a little bit better than I think. It's definitely not a build around. It's the opposite of that, though. Alright. Egon, God of Death. Like, this is the kind of card I'm spending a couple minutes trying to figure out and rate it, but you're really just going to have to play with it. Egon, God of Death. Black and 2. 6/6. Death Touch. God, what the fuck? Beginning of your upkeep, exile 2 cards from your graveyard. If you can't, sacrifice Egon and draw a card. Alright, well. Still pretty sick. And that all this random milling is now going to help with this card. And it has a flip side. Throne of Death. 1 black mana, legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. Black 2, exile a creature card from your graveyard, draw a card. Yeah, I mean, this card's going to be pretty good. If you start with it in your opening hand, you just play this. And it turns into some weird card advantage engine. And if you draw it anytime later on in the game, you just play this guy, and he's a 6/6 Death Touch for a while, and if you run out, you just draw a card. So, yeah, it seems pretty good. Rise of the Dread Marn. Black and 2, instant. Create X 2/2 black zombie berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn. You can foretell it for a black. So this would include your opponent's creatures too in a big combat? It might be okay. I tend to not like these cards much. Chat seems to like it a lot. I don't know. I'm skeptical. Like, obviously you can set it up where you get 2 2/2s on a trade. But I don't, you know, you gotta really, I don't know. I'm skeptical of that card. Skemfar Avenger, black and 1, Elf Berserker, 3/1 for the 2 mana. Whenever another non-token Elf or Berserker card you control dies, you draw a card, lose a life. Yeah, I like this. I don't think it's going to be so. I think it's probably more of a constructed card. Like, it's going to be good. It's a 3/1 for 2 with upside. But, I mean, you got to kind of keep this around and not get it into combat to realize some of this upside. But yeah, no, not some kind of bomb, but it should be good. Turgid, God of Fright. Black, 3. Menace, 4/5. He has a flip side. Whenever an opponent sacks a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you can put this card from your graveyard onto the battlefield. So if it dies, you're going to get it back if they sack something. It doesn't seem great. I mean, it's a 4/5 menace for 5. The back, the Lantern of Turgid. Black and 3. Tap. Target opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. 4 mana, untap the Lantern. I like the Lantern. Lantern, whether it's great or not, it's fucking sweet. I like the Lantern. I hope the Lantern's good enough to play. I guess if the Lantern's not looking hot, like if you're getting your ass kicked, you just play it as a 4/5 menace. That, like, I mean, probably this doesn't matter much. And then if the game's at a point where you can afford to play the Lantern, like, you know, which most times if you get it on turn 4, I think you'll be able to afford to play it. I think this card's quite good. Varagoth Blood Sky Sire. 2 and a black. 2/3 Death Touch. Boast, black and 1. Target player searches their library for a card, shuffles it, puts that card on the top. Seems good. Not great. I mean, it's going to trade with something and let you, Vampiric Tutor a card. Doesn't really provide any kind of card advantage. And they get to pick what it's trading with. I don't know. It's decent. Mythics. Burning Rune Demon. Are you in the set? Yes. Black, 4. Flyer, 6/6. When Burning Rune Demon enters the battlefield, you may search your library for exactly 2 cards not named Burning Rune Demon that have different names. If you do, reveal those cards. An opponent chooses one of them. Put the chosen card into your hand and the other into your graveyard. This card's sweet. 6/6 flyer for 6 that gets you a good spell. Puts another one in your graveyard if you have something to recur, maybe. But if not, you just pick 2 removal spells or 2 whatever, and there you go. The Eradicator Valkyrie. Black 2. Angel Berserker 4/3. Flying lifelink hexproof from Planeswalkers. Boast, black 1. Sack a creature. Each opponent sacks a creature or Planeswalker. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's 4/3 flying lifelink for 4. Obviously needs to be dealt with, and then you can sack some trash and they have to sack their worst thing. So, pretty good. I don't know that it's like, I mean, if it's unchecked, it's obviously going to win any race, but trades with most flyers, I would think. Haunting Voyage. Black 4. Sorcery. Choose a creature type. Return up to 2 creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield. If the spell was foretold, return all creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield instead. Its foretell costs higher at 7 mana. I don't know. It seems more like a constructed card to me. Like, you can probably get 2 creatures back. It works with changelings. If there's a changeling deck, it's going to be great. I don't know. Kind of narrow in my opinion. For some 6 mana mythic. Valkyrie, God of Lies. A black and 1. Legendary God 2/1. When Valkyrie enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals their hand. Exile a creature card they reveal this way until Valkyrie leaves the battlefield. X. Choose a creature card exiled with Valkyrie. Convert a mana cost to X. Valkyrie becomes a copy of that card. So that's interesting. You take something small that they could cast early. It might not be the best. Take something big, though, that they could cast late. Maybe you make this thing big and attack with it. Has another side. Honestly, I don't rate this side all that highly. The other side is a Planeswalker, 7 mana, black 5. So it's very interesting, the contrast from 7 and 2. That's a big disparity. You're never going to save up for the 7 mana side if you draw this early at all. So 7 mana, Planeswalker, 5 loyalty, Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter. As Tybalt enters the battlefield, you get an emblem with, you may play cards exiled with Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter, and spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. +2, exile the top card of each player's library, so you'll get to play either of those cards. -3, exile target artifact or creature, so you can kill their thing and then cast it, and you get an emblem. -8, exile all cards from all graveyards. He can ultimate kind of fast, too. Yeah, this is the power side here. It's basically you get a 6 7-mana Planeswalker, but if you draw it early, you play this other thing that's, like, decent. Yeah, it is, because it has the other side. It is the perfect kind of 2-drop, sure. I mean, if you draw it with like 4 or 5 mana, that's when it's like, well, do I want to hold it or do I want to play this thing that's not great, you know? Yeah. Yeah, basically like this, to me, this is how I evaluate this card to me. I evaluate it as 7 mana Tibalt Planeswalker. 7 mana win the game, basically. And if you draw it when you don't want a 7 mana win the game in your hand, you still get to play it and have a good card. So it's basically like 7 mana win the game, but it cycles for free into a decent spell. That's kind of like how I see it. Card's very good. And like this is a good play on turn 2 anyways. I have no clue about Modern or anything, but I like this card a lot. It's very good. I mean, I don't know how good and constructed the Planeswalker side is, but this Planeswalker, I mean, if you land that, you got to be way far behind not to win, I think. This card is sweet and really good. I'm going to trust you on this red. On to the red cards. Axe Guard Cavalry. We're back at commons. I'm not almost there, though. I have 100 artifacts to do. Axe Guard Cavalry costs a red and 1. It is a 2/2 Dwarf Berserker. Tap it. Target creature gains haste until end of turn. I like it. Side note, it's got a cool little goat on it. Nice little common, I think. 2/2 for 2 that can still do shit after it's irrelevant. Decent card for a common. Breakneck Berserker. 3/2 haste for a red and 2. Seems pretty bad to me. Is a Berserker. Cinderheart Giant. Red 5 for 7/6 trample. When Cinderheart Giant dies, it deals 7 damage to a creature an opponent controls chosen at random. Piss! Cravenhawk. Red and 3, 4/4. Cravenhawk can't block alone. It's a giant. I feel like a lot of these giant decks are somewhat controlly, and that this not being able to block alone is not the best. Still, it's a 4/4/4, and it can block sometimes. Like the Hulking Cyclops used to get played in the red-blue deck, and it couldn't block at all if they attack with 2 things or whatever, I think. This thing can usually set a block up somehow. I think it's pretty good. Demon Bolt. Red and 2 instant. Demon Bolt deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you can foretell it for 1 red. This card seems awesome. Quite good. Nice card. Dwarven Reinforcements. Sorcery for red and 3. Create 2/2/1 Dwarf Berserker creature tokens. You can foretell it for a 1 in a red. I want to say piss. I want to just say piss and move on. I mean, 2/2/1s. I don't know. You're gonna really need some kind of token theme, some kind of dwarf matter thing, some kind of something. Otherwise, I don't want no part of it. Fearless Pup. Haven't seen this guy yet. He looks cool, though. I'm hoping he's decent. 1 red mana for a 1/1. First strike. Boast is 3 mana. Fearless Pup gets +2/+0 until end of turn. No, I don't think so. I think he's just piss. That kind of sucks. I think he's bad. That's unfortunate. Frostbite. 1 red snow instant. Deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, it deals 3. You know, quite good. It doesn't go to the face, but it's good. Curious, I wonder if Frostbite... I think Demon Bolt will just be way better than Frostbite. I would assume. Alright. Hoggy Mob. Red and 4 for a 5/4. Boast. Hoggy Mob deals 1 damage to any target. I'm going to have to play with this one. Thing I like about it is by the time you play it, the boast is not going to be an issue. But I don't know how many things that you really, it can pick off in the format. But I think it might be pretty good for a 5-mana common that you're not going to want a bunch of. Black Rune, that's sick, yeah. Give it Death Touch. That's nice. It's a nasty combo. Yeah, I think the card's fine. Seems like a decent amount of stuff, 1 toughness. I mean, you can also just ping the player for 1. I mean, then it's kind of like a 6/4 for 5. Yeah, I don't know. Seems fine. Immersturm Rider, 1 and a red for a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard a card and draw a card. It's a Berserker. Playable 2-drop. It's a Berserker if you need that, but I don't tend to like these very much. 2/1 gets outclassed so easy. And Rummage is so much worse than Loot in the early game. I don't know. Not great. Open the Omen Paths. Red and 2 instant. Choose 1. Add 2 mana of any one color and 2 mana of any other color. Spend this mana only to cast creature or enchantment spells. So that's awful. Because it costs you 3 anyways. Creatures you control will get +1/+0 until end of turn. This card seems horrendous. Piss. Run Amok. It's a reprint. Target attacking creature, it's supposed to be +3 and gains trample until end of turn. I like this card. I tend to try to build my decks either all in aggression, if they're aggressive. And this is an all-in aggressive type card. You don't want this in a middling deck. If you're ever trying to block, it does nothing. But I do like this. It's a 1-mana ritual. You get 4 mana, and you're only gaining 1 mana off that card. You're not gaining 2. You gain 1 mana. But I don't like it. Seize the Spoils. Red and 2. Sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards and create a treasure. I think you're going to really need the treasure. You're going to really want the ramp. I mean, I saw that red, green, gold guy. I think a deck with that kind of card in it that this can fit into. But I do not think you just want to be tossing this in willy-nilly into your decks. At all. It's a high cost 3 mana and a sorcery for that effect. And I like that effect. But I think you need to be ramping a bit. And really trying to, utilize that treasure. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think this has a home where it's actually desirable. But I don't think it's something you just want to plug in anywhere. Shackles of Treachery. 2 and a red sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. Until end of this turn, it gains haste. Whenever this creature deals damage, destroy target equipment attached to it. Alright, so it has some additional text besides just Act of Treason that I had to read. So if you take an equipped creature, you get to kill the equipment. I mean, if your deck has use for an Act of Treason, like you're just aggressive without much removal, you can play it. You sideboard it in against the equipment decks, or if you're if you got sacrifice stuff, you can play it with that too. So I just think it's a good card. It'll come up for your sideboard if nothing else, and then if you're red, you might have some sacrifice stuff, or you might just be aggressive enough to not mind playing it. Smashing Success. 3 and a red instant. Destroy target artifact or land. If an artifact is destroyed this way, create a treasure token. I mean, Piss, I think. Sideboard Piss. Squash. 4 in a red instant. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you control a giant. Squash deals 6 damage to target creature or planeswalker. This card seems nice. 3 less to cast, gonna mean 2 mana with a giant. And you could like even play this in your deck without a giant. I mean, 6 damage to a creature for 5 has been playable in the past at an instant. Great in some decks. It almost sucks that it's not worse. Because a red deck might just take this anyway that doesn't have giants. Like if it's a little bit worse, like if it's 5 in red, it might even be better because the giant deck would get it all the time. I think this deck's pretty good. Yeah, a red deck without giants doesn't want a bunch of these. A giant deck, like this is going to be one of your best cards. This card looks nice. Tormentor's Helm. 1 red mana, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to defending player. Equipped for 1. I actually really like this card. It's cheap. I don't think you ever want to play it just to play it. But if your deck wants equipments, if you got stuff that says blah blah blah, if it's equipped and do get an equipment and la-di-da, this looks great. It's 1 mana. It's +1/+1, and it equips for 1, and they take an extra damage. I think it's phenomenal for the deck that wants it. This seems sick. Best equipment I've seen. It is a short sword, isn't it? But it's a little bit better. And an equipment that in a set that might want a short sword or like get bonuses for it. I don't know. I like it still. You kind of soured me when you called it a short sword. You're not wrong to do so. You're not wrong to do so. But you soured me on it a little bit. Alright. Tuskery Firewalker. Red and 2. 3/2 creature. Berserker type. Human. Boast 1. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. I like this guy. Very nice. Echo 5. Thank you for the raid. Doing my set review that they've asked for. Isn't this Berserker kind of sick? Yeah, I like this card. Seems quite good. Especially if you have a low curve. You don't have to attack with it the first time either. Like if you want to wait till you can, you know, play a bigger card, potentially. Yeah, this looks good. I like this one. Vault Robber. 1 in a red, 1/3, Dwarf Rogue. 1 in tap. Exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a treasure token. I'm really on just its piss plan here. In a slower deck, in a red-green like slower deck, I guess I can see it. But in anything aggressive, no thank you. Quite bad, I think. Very narrow, if nothing else. Basalt Ravager. 3 in a red, 4/2. It's a giant and a wizard. When Basalt Ravager enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the greatest number of creatures you control that have a creature type in common. So giants and wizards most likely. I mean, it's going to deal at least 1 to something. I think it's often going to deal 1 to something, unfortunately. Unless there's, like, more cheap wizards that I didn't note. I'm going to guess that this isn't... I mean, there's been cards like this a lot. I'm going to guess that this is going to be one of the worst ones. You know, like... The one that counts goblins is, like, way better, you know, stuff like that. It doesn't deal 2 automatic. Yeah, if you have one other thing out. But how many giants are you going to have out before this? Does it go face? That's true. Yeah, it might be better than I think. I mean, it's fine. Its floor is a 4-2 deal one. I just don't know how many giants you'll ever have out before this. And then wizards, maybe you'll have some. You know? Hard to tell without looking at the cards by creature type and casting cost all at once. Changelings, sure. Again, how are they? Most of the changelings I've seen have cost like 4 or 5 mana. So I don't know. I have to see it all laid out. I have to play with it some. It can't be bad. Crush the Weak. 2 in a red sorcery. Crush the Weak deals 2 damage to each creature. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. Foretell for a red. So you got your Pyroclasm here. I can't tell you if it's going to be good or not. You know, it's certainly going to be good against a little white deck. It might be just a sideboard card. Don't know, really. Doomscar Titan. Red 4. 6 mana 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. So he's going to be a 5/4 haste, and everything else is going to get +1/+0. You can foretell him for 5 mana, a red and 4. I don't think he's very good unless you have some token things. I mean, that card that makes 2/2/1 Berserkers I said was bad. Like, I think that you could play that, and then there are 3/1s with this guy. I still think that that's like... Your deck didn't go the way you wanted it to. If you're playing those kind of cards. From what I've seen, this is not supported enough to make this good at all. You'd be playing with a lot of undesirable cards. You know, and maybe they'd get there. It's not horrible. It's a 5/4 haste for 6. It's probably better than I'm giving it credit for. It's not... I mean, it's certainly playable in an aggressive deck. I don't think it's that bad. Yeah, you might never end up playing it. It can't be that bad if you do, though. Dual Strike, red instant. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, converted mana has 4 or less this turn. Copy that spell. Yeah, you can foretell it for a red. I'm not interested in this. I don't know. I don't. Maybe some decks will run it if you have enough stuff, but it doesn't seem very good. The Dwarven Hammer, 2 in a red equipment. When Dwarven Hammer enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 2/1 red dwarf berserker token attached to it. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and has trample. So for 4 in a red, you're looking at a 5/1 trample. And it equips for 3 and gives +3/+0 and trample. I think this is pretty good. In this case, the base rate's pretty bad for a 5/1. But I think +3/+0 and trample is fairly, like, impactful. It is expensive. So, I don't know. You think it's super good, huh, Beers? Beers says it's strong. I mean, it's definitely good. Like, the effect is good. And it's kind of expensive to equip it at 3, but... I mean, there was the other one that was 5 mana. You got a 4/4 Menace, and then it was 4 mana to equip for +2/+2 and Menace. This is 3 mana for +3/+0 and Trample. I don't even know what's better. Like, is +3/+0 and Trample better, or is +2/+2 and Menace better? I think the body on the black one is better, the 4/4 Menace, but this almost seems like this is better for the. And it's cheaper, too. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Fearless Liberator, 1 in a red, 2/1, Berserker. Boast for red 2. Create a 2/1 red dwarf Berserker creature token. I don't think I like this card very much. It's a 2-1 for 2. It's going to get blocked most of the time. Like, even if you have a combat trick, it's... I don't like it. I don't like this card. Prove me wrong when somebody has no 2 or 3 drop and make some 2-1s for free, I guess, but... I think it's piss. Frenzied Raider, 1 in a red, Demon Berserker, 2/2. When you activate a boast ability, put a 1/1 counter on Frenzied Raider. Opposite of piss. Whatever the opposite of piss is, this. This card seems awesome. Sign me up for this guy. Always. Early, often, and always. Really? I'm in on this one. Beers doesn't like this guy? 2/2 for 2 Berserker type. Anytime you boast, he gets a counter? Oh, shit is the opposite of piss? Maybe. I don't know about that. He's awesome. Provoke the Trolls. A red and 3 instant. Provoke the Trolls deals 3 damage to any target. If a creature is dealt damage this way, it gets +5/+0 until end of turn. This might be the Ronald Gagney card of the set. I have yet to see this one. So you can bolt your own guy and +5 it. He's going to be that white card that you can provoke or do whatever that thing is for 1 white and give it +1/+0 and double strike. He's going to be doing this shit for sure. Yeah. I like this card okay. I mean, it's 3 damage for 4. It gets tolerable, I guess. And then it has the ability to, like, kill someone out of nowhere. I can't wait until somebody does this to me and I use the +1/+3 white card and untap it. That'll probably happen in the arena, not in the MTGO. But does it go face? Yeah, this card's nice actually if it goes face. I like that even more. Good call on that. Yeah, I like this card. Red Rune, Rune of Speed. I'm guessing haste. Red and 1. Enchant permanent. When Rune of Speed enters the battlefield, draw a card. Oh, wow. Gets +1/+0 in haste. And on an equipment gets +1/+0 in haste. Dude, I like this on an equipment big time. This seems like a good one to me. Stick this on that 1 mana red equipment. You got yourself a fucking deal. I don't know what I don't remember names. I just know there was that 1/1 that 1 mana that gave a short sword. Yeah, I don't want to enchant my land to cycle. I know that, but I'm looking at the benefit. Giving a creature +1/+0 in haste, fine. Odds are you're not going to really use the haste on the creature. On the equipment, though, you'll use the haste. Arnie Brokenbrow. Red and 2. Legendary creature, human berserker. He's rare. He's good, I know that. 3/3 for 3 haste. Obviously already good. Boast for 1 mana. You may change Arnie's base power to 1 plus the greatest power among other creatures you control. So I thought you could maybe just make him 4/3 always. That's no big deal. If you got something big, you can make him big. He's good. He's a berserker. He's aggressive. 3/3. Haste for 3. You know, not some bomb that wins the game. Efficient. Good card. Hello, man. Traders. Hello, everyone. Burguy. God of Storytelling. That's my card. Red and 2. 3/3 again for 3. It's a god. Whenever you cast a spell, add red mana. Until end of your turn, you don't lose this mana, la-di-da. Creatures you control can boast twice during each of your turns rather than once. This is nasty. I like this thing. And it's got an artifact on the back. 5 mana. Harnfell Horn of Bounty. Red and 4. Discard a card. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. So if you draw it really late in the game and your 3/3 is not going to really be impactful. Yeah, this thing's pretty sick. Basically a Howling Mine for you. As long as you don't have super expensive cards in your deck. You should, well, also a bit of a problem if you draw one really good card for your turn. Like if you're Hellbent, you draw a really good card. It basically does nothing that turn. So this may actually not be quite as powerful as I was thinking it is this side. But it's still super good. Calamity Bearer. Red 2 for a 3/4 Giant Berserker. Another giant. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage. Okay. Sick. So this guy hits as a 6/4 for 4. I mean, yeah, awesome, obviously. Plus all your other giants. Yeah. Stupid good, really. I mean, for giants, yeah. More selective. Dragon Ken Berserker. A red and 1, 2/2 first strike. It's a Berserker. Boast abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate for each dragon you control. So that ain't going to do shit at first. Boast of 5. Create a 5/5 red dragon token with flying. This guy's awesome. I mean, he's going to probably die the first time you end up boasting him. But you can send him in early in the game as a 2/2 first strike, potentially to chip in for some damage. And then once you have 5 mana, you basically turn him into a 5/5 dragon token. Seems pretty good. Magda Brazen Outlaw, red and 1 for a 2/1 Dwarf Berserker Legend. Other dwarves you control get +1/+0. Whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token. That's ridiculous. Sacrifice 5 treasures, search your library for an artifact or dragon card. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Yeah, this guy is really good. I mean, it's going to be good basically only on turn 2. Well, oh, dwarves. I was thinking it gave berserkers. Oh. There's a lot of berserkers. I don't think there's a lot of dwarves. I think this thing sucks for the most part. For the most part, it's a 2/1 for 2. Dwarf is OP. Really. I feel like it doesn't do much because you don't have a lot of dwarves. Maybe I missed a lot of dwarves. I don't know. Seems like poop to me. Reckless Crew. Red and 3 sorcery. Create X 2/1 red dwarf berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of vehicles you control, plus the number of equipment you control. For each of those tokens, you may attach an equipment to it. Yeah, I don't like this. How much stuff are you going to have? 2 things? Maybe you get 2 2/1s? No. Tybalt's Trickery. It's this weird-ass counterspell that sucks. I don't know. I'm not going to read. It's too complicated. I had to read it like 6 times. I think you need a lot of shapeshifters, and you need to be attacking with them early on, I feel like, for that dwarf to be very good. I feel like the main benefit is for the treasures to, like, snowball you and ramp out your whole board. I don't know how cheap the changelings were. The ones I remember seeing weren't super cheap. But, I mean, it could be good. Tundra Fumarole, red 1, snow sorcery. Tundra Fumarole deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Add colorless for each snow spent to cast this spell. I mean, yeah, this card's great. I mean, it's 4 damage. It's double red. I don't know that red's really a snow color either. I don't know that the mana's going to matter that much. It's mostly just a somewhat hard to cast, well-cost removal spell. I don't know, probably worse than the common one that just dealt 4 to something. Devil whatever or something. I think, I don't know. Gold Spawn Dragon, red 3, 4/4 Flying Haste. Already pretty good. When it attacks or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token. And treasures can sack for 2 mana. I feel like in general that stuff isn't going to matter that much by the time you have 5 mana. But I mean, this card's great. 4/4 Flying Haste for 5. I remember seeing this thing too. I remember liking this thing here. Quakebringer. Red 3 for a 5/4. You could also foretell it for red 2. Opponents can't gain life. At the beginning of your upkeep, Quakebringer deals 2 damage to each opponent. This ability triggers only if Quakebringer is on the battlefield or in your graveyard and you control a giant. So yeah, you'll have to have another giant if he's in the graveyard. But, I don't know, 5/4 for 5. I don't know, maybe it's not that great. I think it's pretty good. I like it still. I don't know that it needs to be mythic and limited. Y'all are wearing me out. Toralf, God of Fury. Red and 2 for a 5/4 trample. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, Toralf deals damage equal to the excess to any target other than that permanent. So it makes like your bolts arc lightnings and stuff, I guess. If they have a bunch of 1/1s, you do 3 to something, you start doing it to, I don't know. Decent. For a 5/4 trample for 4 is fine, though. Toralf's Hammer on the other side. Red 1 equipment. Equipped creature has red 1 tap. Unattach the hammer. It deals 3 damage to any target. Return the hammer to its owner's hand. Which I think is almost a benefit. You can keep doing it multiple times in a turn. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 as long as it's a legendary. Equip 2. So you can just cast it for 2. Equip it. I mean, if you had 8 mana, you can do this twice. Maybe that's... Or you can equip it once, and then on your turn, you can kill a 6/6 with 6 mana. I don't know. Pretty cool, I guess. I don't know which side you're going to play, but it's neat that you can like do this and then play it as the creature you want or whatever. And obviously in Constructed, if you play both, like they combo together, right? You're dealing 3 to something with the hammer, but you're splitting it up. Alright.
Real big dude!